Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, beloved souls, to today's episode of Wandering Rabbit Trails. Just like last week, I'm going to spend half an hour just chatting about things that matter to you and to me. And I'm going to be doing that while I do my quercetin powder again, like I did last week. I did get a comment from someone. I don't quite remember the username. It was Elizabeth something. Sorry. Being like, an hour-long video is sort of a commitment. I'd kind of prefer like 10 to 15 minutes. The reason I initially went for an hour as my goal is because that's more podcast length, and this is more of a podcast type thing where it's not super visual. You could just listen to it and be fine. I think I am going to try to stick with just the 30-minute format right now, or however much I can handle. If I'm super tired, I am going to give myself permission to stop, because my brain's gone. Because first of all, I think doing it with the quercetin, I worked really well. Like, I was able to just do this sort of mindlessly and focus on what I was saying. Also because it took an absolute eternity for it to upload last week, and I really don't want to know how long an hour would take, so I'm going to just stick with the half an hour for now, or however long I can handle. Once again, just going to chat about whatever sort of pops into my brain, because I didn't get, like, really any questions, which is fine. I expected that. I imagine that if this series ever takes off, and it might not, that won't happen until I start uploading other types of videos to get people interested in that, because I'm aware this does not look like the most interesting type of videos that people are going to be like, oh, I want to click on that. So, yeah. Let's see. What do I want to talk about today? Last week's topics were somewhat easy because it's a whole new format. It's a whole new, I haven't really posted any videos. I had a couple shorts up, but I don't have pretty much anything else, especially not a long type video. So it was pretty easy to just talk about the channel and this series and what I want to do with them. Let's see. I've been watching a lot of YouTube shorts, so probably will try experimenting with some of the shorts that I put out. It's kind of hard since I don't want to edit anything right now, because I'm trying to really make this a reasonable project for me to do, where it's not scary and time consuming, because then I will stop doing it. I'm probably going to stop doing it anyway at some points, and then I will come back to it, because it's going to get hard, especially if I'm actually legitimately sick over any of the weekends. I've been getting sick every week, and I have blood work scheduled to make sure my white blood cells are doing what they're supposed to be doing, but it's great not knowing, I mean, pretty much knowing I'm going to be ill with a new illness every single week. It's been months of this. So, luckily, the illness I had was on Thursday this week. Well, I've been sick every day with just congestion and stuff, but this one climaxed on Thursday and then went back down. So I'm okay right now. My throat is feeling a little sore though, so might get my illness a little sooner in the week this time. But yeah. So if I'm sick on a weekend, I'm not going to film myself doing this, because I need the rest, and it would probably sound awful. It'd be really hard on me, so I won't be doing that. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of YouTube shorts. I spent literally 9 hours yesterday watching YouTube shorts, which is that really how I want to be spending my time? Not necessarily, but that's part of that whole being aware of my mental illnesses sort of things, and using it to know what I need without using it as an excuse. So I had a hard week, got sick, had a lot on my plate, and I was like, I'm not acting like I'm really going to be able to do other things for my mental health other than, for my relaxation time other than YouTube. I'd like to get to the point in my life where I can just be like almost totally off screens. Not entirely, because I do think YouTube and Pinterest and other things like that can be really useful tools for finding ideas for things, but I don't want the screens to control me, you know? I don't want to be addicted, and I've definitely shown signs of addiction over the years and even recently. So I spent all day on that, which was really good for thinking about what sort of things I want to do for my shorts and how people use them. But I just gave myself permission, and I made sure, because here's the thing, in the past I would have done the same thing. Spent all day on something, whether it was Pinterest or YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But in the past I would have not taken care of myself during that, like had trouble eating and drinking and going to the bathroom and all those other things that are necessary, and I would have spent the whole time beating myself up about it, being like, oh, why can't you just get up and do the thing? It's not that hard. Just stand up and eat something. Why aren't you doing your homework? You're supposed to be doing your homework right now. And just a lot of self-blame and guilt and shame and all that stuff. So, but through knowing why I'm acting in the ways I am, and knowing that my body does need to recuperate from the week and need the dopamine, I can now give myself permission to rest and be like, okay, obviously I'm taking today as my day of rest, and tomorrow I will accomplish things and get the things I need to do done. So I was able to actually use that time to rest and relax, and I made sure to take care of myself. And if I wasn't taking care of myself, I would have messaged some friends and been like, hey, I'm struggling, can we get dinner together or something? Because if I make plans with another person, the adrenaline will kick in right before it's time to go and meet that person, and I'll actually do it. So, and that way I can take care of myself. So that's one thing I can do where it's because what I was talking about last time is, like, it's important to know what your limits are, you know? So through self-diagnosing myself as having ADHD, I am not using it as an excuse where I'm just going to be like, oh, sorry, I have ADHD, I couldn't help it, that's just who I am. Which, if you are doing that right now, you need to stop. Like, it's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for the people around you. Everyone has things that they are naturally good at and naturally bad at. But we don't have to let that define us. You know, I really struggle with some things. Like, when I was at my worst, I couldn't make myself get up and shower. I couldn't make myself eat or drink. I couldn't make myself go to the bathroom. I was late to work multiple times. If my school has the policy that if you miss class 3 times, you have to talk to the dean of students about it, and so they can be like, hey, what's going on? And because of that rule, which I know a lot of people are like, what? That is insane or harsh or whatever, but it actually was super useful because it meant that I did not miss class when I was doing really poorly, because I was afraid of that. I did not want to talk to anyone in charge. So I didn't miss class. I was able to make myself go to those, even though it was really hard for me. And it's so good that that rule exists, because if it didn't, I would have flunked out of school. Like, I would have just not gone to school, and I also couldn't make myself do homework or reading or anything. Like, I could make myself do homework, but at the last minute, adrenaline kicking in, and there were assignments that I missed. There were assignments I didn't do because I couldn't make myself do it. And so I was really not doing well. Like, couldn't make myself sleep either. There were days I stayed up and I watched the sunrise, except I wasn't watching the sunrise, I was watching my screen. But if I had happened to look at the window, I would have seen the sunrise. But I just could not make myself disengage from my media and go to bed. So I don't remember exactly how I got on this topic. I think it was something about using it as an excuse or coping things. So because of, now that I know more about myself and having ADHD, I've worked super duper hard, and I'm still working on it, and things are still hard for me, but I know more. I've been able to do research on some ADHD coping mechanisms and experimenting with myself and being like, okay, what works for me? And giving myself love, you know, where I don't, when I mess up, I'm not like, you're worthless, you're so stupid, why can't you just do this? It's not that hard, you know, and being harsh with myself. Instead, I can be like, okay, that didn't work. We need to keep working on this, keep thinking about other things that could work for this. But it's not, it gives myself more information about what could possibly work for me, and gives myself permission to be gentle with myself. But it's not an excuse. If I don't do the work, I need to take the consequences of not doing the work, you know? And I could try to talk to a professor and be like, hey, this is what was going on, can I get an extension? But honestly, sometimes if something is exceptional happening, it's good for me to get an extension and get that done. But otherwise, because of how my ADHD works, I need those deadlines to get the adrenaline rush to actually make things happen sometimes. Otherwise, I would just spend forever not doing it and just putting it off because it's hard. And my brain doesn't want to engage with things that are hard. So honestly, I need the deadlines, and sometimes I'm going to miss the deadlines because of how things are running, and I need to own that and be like, okay, this was my choice. I chose to put it off. Like, yes, I did it because I have ADHD, but we all have reasons for the things we do. We can't just not take accountability for our actions. You can choose how you respond to things, even if you can't choose the thing. So, if I hurt someone, if I don't show up for something, which I generally do show up for things that I said I'm going to, I need to, like, talk to someone about it, apologize to them, be like, hey, I'm really sorry, I said I was going to do this thing and it didn't happen. I'm really sorry about that. Because it doesn't matter what my intentions are, if I hurt someone, you know, I need to take accountability for that. And try to change. Because I saw something this week where someone was talking about that it's okay to love yourself as you are, and you don't need to change to love yourself, which is 100% true. It is so important for us to love ourselves. But the question is, what does it mean to love yourself? Because some people, when they say love yourself as you are, that means because I love myself as I am, I never in my life need to change a thing again. I'm perfect the way I am. And that's not true. None of us are perfect. What is true is that we do need to love ourselves, but love without boundaries is not love. It's destructive. Love is holding someone accountable because you want what's best for them. And I know this is really hard for some people to hear because, and it's hard for me too, because I want to just let people do whatever. I want to be like, yeah, you're having fun, let's just do whatever. But I can't do that because it's not good for people. I work with children. If I just let children do whatever they wanted to do, they would hurt themselves. And they would hurt their friends. And they would hurt me. Because the thing that pops into our head is a good idea to do is not always a good thing to do. So it's important to know that loving others and loving yourself is holding yourself and others that you love accountable. You know, you cannot just let them do whatever. We can't control other people. You can't make someone do something different, and sometimes you can't make yourself do different things, but you can try to do different things. So like, if I just go, yeah, I snapped at you, but that's because I have anxiety. I was upset. It's not my fault. You know, you can't. I still hurt that person. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I was going through a really stressful time, but that is no excuse for me to treat you that way. And don't let me talk to you like that. Like, tell me when I hurt you. Please, I want to know. I don't want to accidentally hurt you. And when I do, like, if I'm treating you like that, like, you have my full permission to just walk away. You know, be like, I'm not going to stay here while you're talking to me like that, and leave. And, you know, you gotta apologize. Like, I will, if I hurt you, if I hurt someone, I'm going to apologize to them, and I can't make them accept that apology. Like, yeah, I've spent a long time talking about this one subject. I don't know, it's just been on my mind a lot lately. I don't know if that made any sense. And if you guys want to hear more about it, do let me know. But I'm going to try and move on to another subject because it's been a while on one thing. Let's see, what else? Oh, I completely forgot to mention when I was watching, when I did last week's video, I also do writing fan fiction and writing stories. That's another one of my hobbies. I have written several fan fictions that I have posted on various sites like fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own, and Twisting the Hellmouth, which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer specific site, and then Wattpad. So I've got some fan fictions up there. If people are interested, I can maybe put some of those links in there, talk about some of the different fan fictions, because I'd love to talk about fan fiction. I'm struggling to write right now because I've got a bunch of different hobbies I've been engaging in, but I've been trying to do something where I take the pressure off myself and be like, you don't have to write that specific series that you've been working on. You can just write whatever and just spend a few minutes writing just a dump document. And if it happens to be something that's I want to continue, I can pull it into another document and continue it. But just trying to give myself a bit of a break there as well. So that's another hobby I enjoy, and I'd love to talk about writing with people. Let's see, what else? Oh, that does not want to break up. Hello? So as I mentioned, I do work with children. I've worked with children for a very long time. I love children. I absolutely adore children, even when they're being brats. I have and am a brat as well. So honestly, I just find it funny. It can be frustrating, of course, but oh man, some of the stories I could tell you. Oh, it's so funny to watch kids do things and see what developmental stage they're in. Like, man, one of my kids the other day, he was sitting in my lap and he was facing me, and I was just looking at him and I was like, did you know you have green eyes? And he looked at me And he was like, that means I have boogers and you have green eyes too. Like, thanks, buddy. That's so sweet of you. Oh man, I love kids. They're so crazy. Oh, the things that they say. I can't wait to someday have kids of my own. It's gonna be hard, but hopefully I can, with the help of my fiance, we can, who will be my husband at the time, we'll be able to work together and do a good job. It won't be a perfect job, but do our best. And I'll, of course, try to follow the research because I am super into following the research on things. I really think it's super important to just be aware of what the experts are saying. Like, obviously, there are some things where experts are wrong. Like, throughout history, we've been wrong about things and really thought something was true and found out it wasn't. So just because experts say something doesn't mean it's true. But just be aware what they're saying and make the judgment for yourself on if you think this is what's right for you and your family and how you treat people and stuff is just important, I think. But yeah, I love kids. I plan to continue working with them forever, though I have, as I've grown up, expanded my career goals to be working with other people as well, like adults and teenagers and such, because I really do think everyone is worth something and that I want to help people just however I can. So I'm thinking of going into social work. I'm not 100% sure though. I think I'd also be very good at like something like play therapy, but I think I'll try social work first, see how that goes. Eventually I'd like to open up a ministry of some sort with some sort of community outreach program. We'll see where the future takes me, because it is whatever the Lord's will is and things. I don't claim to have any sort of control over anything, but I would really like to continue working with people and helping them get what they need to do, what they need, and to help them function better in our world. Yeah. No other topics really come to mind right now, so I think I'm just gonna sign off here, even though I'm not quite done with my quercetin. So yeah, just no matter what happens, no matter who you are or what you've done, what you've experienced, what you believe, just know that you matter as a person, okay? There is nothing you can ever do that will change that. You are always going to matter. Have a good time.